Welcome to my first What I Read in 2025 video. Let's get right into it. Hello, welcome back to Corey's Nail Diary. Today we're going to talk about my January 2025 reads of the month. So today we have 2 books that I want to talk about, but you're getting a special gift here. I'm giving you a third one because I can't talk about 2025 without explaining 2024 first. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start there. So my treat book first. Are you ready? In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. You guys, this was my last read of 2024. And let me just say, this is my second 5-star book from Christina Lauren. Are all of their books like that? I'm like genuinely curious because now I feel like I need to read every single one of them. So the main character of this book, May, is in a cabin with her family and friends in Utah, and she basically ends up in this like weird time portal where she gets told the cabin's being sold, and then she gets transformed back to being on the plane to get to the cabin. It's bizarre when I put it that way, I know, but that's really what happens. So basically you learn how she feels about her family friends, her love interest, everything like that. The beginning of the book also starts with a very hungover morning and some mistakes that had been made. This book is so interesting because my other Christina Lauren book I've read is The True Love Experiment, which is just very different. That was about a romance author who was on a Bachelor-esque type show. This one is completely different, and I loved this book. It was so good. I couldn't put it down. It's like the mystery of like, will she end up back in this time portal or not? So good. I think I literally gave this a 5 out of 5 as like my last book of the year. This, if you haven't read this book, I really suggest it. Maybe it might be a little late though for some people because this does have a Christmas tone in it, but I have another Christmas tone book for you today, so you're just going to have to deal with that one. So to start off 2025, after reading that book, I was like, honestly, I'm kind of in a bit of a book hangover. And if you're new to reading or you don't know what a book hangover is, it's basically when you read something so good that you're like, I don't want to pick up another book right now. I can't pick up another book right now. I just can't do it. So to combat the book hangover, knowing that I needed to read something else, I picked up A Disaster in 3 Acts by Kelsey Rodkey. This is a young adult romance, so I kind of knew what I was going into before picking it up here. I knew it was going to be a high school storyline. I knew that, you know, there's not going to be any spice in it. I was prepared for everything. I also like wanted an easier read, if that makes sense. So that's what I got here. The main character, Sane Sinclair, is trying to get into Temple University, and she's a film student. So basically what she's trying to do is create a documentary that she can send to the college to be able to get into the college. When one of her friends basically pulls out for the documentary idea, she has to find another person to fill their spot. So she finds this guy, Holden, who happens to be her ex-childhood best friend, who dated her best friend, to fill in the dots, fill in the space for her basically to become a docuseries member. What's interesting about this book is that it's split into 3 different acts. So Act 1 is basically the plan and like what her plan is to get into Temple. Act 2 is what are we gonna do now that our friend pulled out from the plan. And Act 3 is her actually figuring everything out. On top of her trying to get into Temple here, it's also her trying to navigate this new friendship, old friendship dynamic with Holden, her trying to navigate her best friend, finding out that she's doing things with Holden because her best friend dated Holden. And then on top of that, her grandmother had passed away, so there is mentions of grief in the story as well. This book was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a page turner for me. I went to film school, so I picked it up being like, I'm going to enjoy this. I love anything related to film. I saw a lot of myself in this very courageous character. The storyline was just okay though. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was like, I didn't really have a reason to come back to it, and I think that was my biggest issue with this book. I went through it rather slow. Like, let me see, I put down the dates so you can actually see. So I started this book on January 4th and I finished it on January 15th. So yeah, I really didn't get through this book quickly at all whatsoever, but it really wasn't a page turner for me, but I'm happy I read it. It was a very good palate cleanser. And yeah, that was A Disaster in 3 Acts. And then book 2 of the month is A Jingle Bell Mingle, which I originally planned to read this in Christmas time. I brought this with me all the way to my parents' house for Christmas, and I just didn't end up reading it because I liked In Holidaze so much. Whatever though. So this book I actually picked up because there was a giant snowstorm here in New York, so I was like, I want something like snow themed. You know what I'm saying? So the main character, Isaac, and his friend, we'll call her a friend, Sunny, are in, it's a town called Christmas Notch. I'm not sure this is a real town. I don't know what state it's supposed to be in though. Vermont. They're in Vermont. So I was just like, snow, Vermont, that makes sense. There's actually a big snow scene near the end of it too. This book was new for me in the way of, this is a very spicy book and I didn't expect that. I can usually do like mild spice, like just sprinkled in there, you know, whatever. This was very interesting. I will read the inside cover to you and you tell me how much spice you think is in this book. What happens when there are no vacancies at the inn and you and your potential demonic cat become roommates with your grumpy one-night stand? Part-time adult film actress, one-time adult film director, and makeup artist Sunny Palmer has accidentally sold her very first screenplay to Hope Channel. Once again, Hollywood film trope. You're going to see a lot of that from me, I'm sorry. That was 6 months ago. Fast forward to a looming deadline and a floundering Sunny has returned to the source of her inspiration, Christmas Notch, Vermont, to immerse herself in local Christmas miracle on which her fevered dream of a movie pitch was based. Isaac Kelly, former boy band heartthrob and the saddest boy in the music biz, is the latest owner of the town's historic mansion after putting his record label on hold for years while he recovered from heartbreak following the death of his young wife. Isaac has been given an ultimatum: write some new music or lose his contract. What better place to attempt his first solo holiday album than a snow-covered mansion where he can become a hermit in peace, right? After their best friend's wedding leads to Sunny and Isaac waking up together in a freezing motel room and questionable wiring and broken shower, Isaac takes a chance and asks Sunny to stay with him at his home. Surely the place is big enough and that he'll hardly see her or her unhinged cat. But when the two discover they're both creatively blocked, they'll make a handshake deal. Isaac will help Sunny hunt down the truth behind the local lore, and Sunny will find Isaac a new muse. With these two opposites under one roof, there's no way this Jingle Bell Mingle could go off script, right? So from that, I was like, this is really good. I've never personally read a book about a that was interesting. So this is the third book of this series technically, but I think you can all read them standalone. I wasn't confused about anything not reading the other two. These authors wrote A Merry Little Meet Cute, which I haven't read that book, but I know of something that happens in that book. A candy cane, if you know, you know. They also have a second book called Holly Jolly Ever After, which I also have in my bookshelf. And somehow I read the third book. I can't explain that one to you, okay? I thought it was really cool how they brought in the investigation aspect of Sunny's screenplay while also bringing in Isaac having to write music again. I'll be honest, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars because in the middle it became this like back and forth of Isaac being like, Sunny, I need to find a muse, and her being like, don't worry, Isaac, I will find you a muse. It was to the point where if I read the word muse one more time, I think I was going to vomit. Like, it was in every sentence at one point, and I was like, this is too much for me. I cannot deal with muse, 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 muse. Oh my god. That was the thing that really annoyed me the most about this book. Another trigger warning for this. This also mentions grief because Isaac's wife did die. So they don't like go in depth with like how it happened, but it's mentioned. So if that's something that triggers you, I suggest not reading this book right now. And yeah, this was very interesting. It was a very interesting read. I don't really have much else to say other than it was very interesting. I don't know if I'd recommend it to everyone, but if you're someone that likes a little more spice and you like a cute little Christmassy novel, like that's the one for you to read. It's fun. I had a good time with it. But 4 to 5 stars for me. Also, if you are wondering if they had a candy cane-esque moment, like in a merry little meet cute, this one is gingerbread. You're gonna have to read the book to understand what I mean by that. Without giving too much away. I didn't care. I'm like, this is very adventurous for me to be reading. I was just confused in the sense of like, okay, that's questionable. Interesting. Very unique. That is all I can say without giving too much away. All right, so these are my first books of 2025, and let me know if you've read them before. Let me know if you want to read them. Let me know if you liked this video. Comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and also check me out on both Instagram and TikTok. I mean, I am Corey's Nail Diary literally everywhere else. So I'll see you somewhere else on the internet, and have a great day. Okay, now I'm getting my thumbnail pictures. Are you ready for these?